Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel, the 5-minute lecture recap. Today we're gonna be talking about why we need to take notes. Now you might think this is quite old-fashioned way. I mean, who takes notes these days? But if you think about it, there are these apps on Microsoft called Notion, OneNote, and people do blogging all the time, YouTubing like I'm doing. Some people are into toastmasters, and this is where note taking could be useful. Now, what do you need to start taking notes? Well, obviously we've been all through schooling. We have notepad. I'm talking about a physical notebook, or you could say notepad on the computer, journal, index card. You may not have heard of that before, but yeah, those are things that you need to have. Now, what is important here in this video is that apart from stating the obvious, what it is about a principled approach that is note-taking. So it may never go out of fashion, even in the times of AI. Who knows? So let me begin by saying this note-taking and how it's useful in study, because most people relate note-taking to when they're studying. So first of all, I'll just say what study is. Well, you normally think of studying for a topic, but study, whatever it is, it requires practice for self-mastery. Now, in Chinese, it's after the origin of the word study is kung fu. So kung fu means, gong means a master, a crafts artisan, and fu is like someone of that caliber passing down that knowledge. So when we say we are studying, we should really ask ourselves, is there any change in behavior? And I'll say, because we're talking about self-mastery, we need to look at our habits. And are we gaining habits that is sharpening our skill? And whether that's playing piano or doing sports or particular sports, you would know that it requires repetition. You need to go back to it at regular intervals and make sure you practice it to master it. So it is quite serious because it requires that kind of level of commitment. And also that when it comes to integrating knowledge, you need to be able to share that knowledge basically by teaching others about it. So if you can have a good habit routine for mastering your practice and also able to share with others how you got to that level, it's a good indicator that you are studying. Now, obviously, when you study, you get to learn things, and there's joy in learning. But there are two types of learning. So we could divide it into experiential learning, that is learning by doing, and that is sort of a everyday skill. So you could say you're learning every day. But I guess it's more like people who are in a job that requires skills, say cooking. They're learning, it's an experiential learning. The second one is cognitive learning, and this is what most people are familiar with, which is because it's about reading a book and writing notes, what we learn at school. And people generally think that they're not good at learning because of this second cognitive learning. And the good news is that if you learn through doing, if you're that kind of learner, you can use that to boost your cognitive learning. So this channel or this lecture series is about increasing our cognitive learning skill. So note-taking comes into this. Now, quickly, note-taking can be a memo. You write down a memo. I need this grocery list because you'll forget. So memo from memory. You thought about it a couple of seconds ago. If you don't write it down now, you'll probably forget in another couple of seconds. So once you got these memos, you organize it to form a speech. Maybe you read these memo notes and you say to yourself, oh, I'm gonna go to supermarket and buy spinach, cucumber, and so on. Okay, and finally you need to act on the memo. All right, so you take your shopping list and do the shopping. Or if it's an advice, you look at it and you actually go and do it. Like the advice I'm giving you, you go and do it. So what are some of the strategies that we can talk about when it comes to note-taking and studying? Now, most of us learn things from books, or like I said, the cognitive learning is based on reading. So let's talk about the importance of reading and how we should read. Now, you need to approach reading like, I've got a book here, and let's say I'm reading this book, very famous Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's like I'm meeting or getting to know a friend or a mentor in this case. So that's how you should approach. And even though I guess I would say now it's written in quite an easy language, when I first saw this book maybe 10 years ago, I thought it was quite, I wouldn't say difficult, but I thought maybe I didn't understand everything. So when you're reading a book, you're always approaching from your current cognitive level plus that little bit extra. There's no perfect way to read. It's only your way that is valid, your way at your level. And so the same book may read differently 10 years down the line, right? Now, another important thing is eye movement in reading. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, really? But now I'm thinking, yeah, basically reading left to right, just moving your eyes like this. And the trick is 1.5 seconds per line, which roughly makes a minute to read a page, which means in a 1 hour session where you have 45 minutes of reading time and 15-minute break time, you can get to 50 pages. Now, I haven't verified that myself, but I'm very excited because if you can do that, that means 3 hours. So maybe 1 hour session, 2 hour session in a row, and then have a break, like have a meal or go for a walk and come back and do 1 more hour session. There's 3 hours, you can get to 150 pages, which this book, so this book's about 300 pages. So you can get through this book in 6 hours, which is in a day. So that's pretty exciting for me because I'm always struggling to finish a book because I read a couple of pages, I leave a little bookmark, and then maybe I come back to it a week later, or maybe a month, or maybe not at all. So yeah, exciting stuff. Now, should you just be reading, or what should you be doing while you're reading? You should be note-taking. Now, every book has a paragraph, so you should be like reminding yourself, what is that I'm reading after each paragraph as you are, doing that eye movement reading technique. And every 4 page, you should think of some thoughts that come up and try to connect them and go back and circle them, maybe 2 keywords per page. All right, and after a chapter, which may be 10 pages long, you connect those keywords and write them onto an index card and that could be 3 lines on an index card. I'll show you when it arrives. I've ordered it, but it's like an index card. You write 3 lines in a 10-page long chapter, let's say. So what is this index card and what is this keyword bullet point style note taking? Well, you have to remember that the keywords that you write are your own subjective take on what you've read. So think of it as you're editing your knowledge into a story, and then you have the chance to give that story like I'm doing on a YouTube channel. So, and when you have those index card and you have those gaps, you can begin to tell your own story because you're filling in those gaps with your own. So I guess in a way you're creating something new from pretty much things that are already out there. And that's maybe that's how you can build your business. I mean your content delivery, right? So have a go, give it a go, and let me know. Cheers.